Hi, this is the repeat of the workshop that I did a couple of weeks ago. When I did it back at the beginning of November, I accidentally forgot to press record. So not a great example for a workshop on planning, but over the next few minutes, I want to help you come up with some suggestions on how you can take your tutoring business from where it is now at the end of 2021 to a place much further on at the end this time next year at the end of 2022. But before we start, I'm going to spend just a couple of seconds letting you know who I am and my background. So basically, when I started Clara James Tutoring back in 2012, I had been working in childcare and education for the previous 12 years. And originally, I'd started off working in an early years setting. Then I'd gone on and done worked in mainstream schools and worked in bases for children with profound autism who couldn't cope in mainstream schools. I worked as an MVQ assessor, and but at the time that my oldest daughter started junior school, I thought she might be mildly dyslexic. And I approached the school and said, look, this is what I found. What do you think? And they said, well, dyslexia is just an excuse for laziness. There is no problem. And instantly dismissed the idea. So I thought, okay, I didn't have the confidence to pursue the school and try and get them to get the tests and things done. So I thought if they're not willing to help, then I'll do what I can to help them myself. So over the coming years, I learned as much as I could about dyslexia and learning styles and working with children with profound autism as well. And everything I found was that children learn when they're relaxed, children learn when they're engaged, children enjoy, no, when we do something, we create a memory. If we do the same, if I ask you to draw a picture, you'll store a memory of doing that picture. If I ask you to draw another picture of the same thing, you're making that memory stronger, but your brain still only got one place to go to record that information. Whereas if we do multiple things to help us remember, then we're creating multiple memories. So our brain has got more places to go to find the information it needs when needed. And this is what I'd found in every setting that I'd ever worked in, with children from 2 years up to children with at 16, even with adults. The more we could give them variety, the more likely they were to enjoy themselves and to learn. So when I started the tutoring business, that was my underlying principle. This is how people learn, so this is how we do things. And I sat down with a friend and we brainstormed, if we wanted a tutor for our own children, what would we expect? What would we want? And so we kind of like brainstormed and came out with all these ideas, and that we also put into the mixture. And from those two aspects, Clara James Tutoring, at the time Star Tutoring, was born. And over the years, it's grown bigger and bigger. And now there's quite a substantial team of us. And we support children nationwide. But moving on from that, that's a bit about me. Moving on, the idea here is to give you some support, like I say, in planning your business in 2022. So before we start, what I'd like you to do, and there is a workbook attached to this, visualize for a moment where you would really like to, when you look back on your life, where would you like to be? What would you like to be remembered for? Because even if this doesn't seem achievable right now, if you have an end goal, it's far easier to work towards it than it is if you have lots of mini journeys. It's like if I was to, I'm here in Buckinghamshire in the UK, so if I start here and I want to get to the north of Scotland, if I plan from here to London, then London from here, then here, it's going to be a very disjointed journey. But if I know that by the end of 2022, I want to have arrived in the Shetland Islands at the north of Scotland, I will plan one complete route to help me get there. So have a think about where you would like to be in 5, 10, 15 years time, and jot down your thoughts. And then break it back. So where would you like to see yourself at the end of next year? It may be achievable, it may not seem achievable, but if you have a goal where you would like to be, what you would like to do in the next year, it's far easier to get there. And write your goal down, because that's a big part of the That's a big part. That will keep you focused. I mean, people talk about doing your vision boards and things like that. So you've got constant visual reminders about where you'd like to be. But for now, just write it down. Write down what you would like to have achieved by this time next year. So, for example, if I wanted to go on holiday with my youngest daughter in July, for easy, I've got my notes written down. So for easy budgeting, I'm going to say the holiday is going to cost us £1,000 and we're going to take £600 spending money with us. Okay, so that means between November today and June, I need to earn an extra £1,600 in order to pay for this holiday. So if I break that down, that's £1,600 in total. Over 8 months, I need to earn an extra £200 a month. Break it down again, that becomes an extra £50 a week. So the theory is that if I had 2 students pay me £25 an hour, I would be able to achieve that. It's probably actually going to be nearer 3 because of the expenses and things involved. But as a rule, as a generalization, and we'll keep going with that just to keep it simple maths, but think about where you want to be, think about what it's going to cost to achieve it, and then break it down to work out so that you can see how long or how much extra you're going to need to earn each week, and how many students are you going to need to achieve that. And what are those students going to be paying you? It could be that you're going to need to put your prices up slightly. It could be that actually where they are, they're just about fine. That's something for you to think about. Okay. In order to find these new students, presuming you are going to need new students, we're going to need to find and keep, from my example, I'm going to need to find and keep, big difference, 2 more students, okay? And the 3 steps in order to do that is to get people to know about you, to get to like you, and to get to trust you, okay? So that's the 3 key parts of finding, keeping 3. Obviously, once you've found them, you need to give this amazing service so that they don't want to go, and then they'll recommend people personally, and that saves you from doing the marketing. But if you're just starting out, the main thing at the moment is to get people to know, like, and trust. Okay. So getting people to know about you. How are you going to do your marketing? Getting people to know you. If you're doing face-to-face tutoring, perhaps in your home or the child's home or a tutoring centre, you might use things like flyers through local doors, or you may put adverts in local shop windows. You might have magnets on the side of your car, or you may decide that you're actually going to go down the Facebook route or other social media outlets such as Instagram or Twitter or whatever suits you. More importantly, the person that you're going to be tutoring, or their parents, if it's the parents you're going to be advertising to, what social media platform are they on? Because it's pointless you advertising on Twitter if the person that you actually want to find you spends most evenings scrolling through Instagram or Facebook or something. So think about who it is that you're advertising to. And what is it that you want to present here? Is it just the profile, telling them about you and what you offer, or do you want to offer a freebie? Do you want to offer knowledge and answer questions, provide a blog, answer questions in groups? You may want to create a competition or something. Once a year we did tutoring for charity, and that went down really well. We found a hall that we could use for free, and we got it mentioned on the local radio, and we basically promoted some free tutoring sessions, and the parents could just give a donation to the charity that we chose for the cost of the lesson. And that rose our profile quite a bit. So that was quite a good idea to try and get people aware of you and what you're doing. So how are you going to get people to know you? What marketing are you going to do? You can't do everything yourself. Well, you can't be everywhere by yourself. So if you try and appear on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all the other TikTok and everything else, the odds are you're going to do lots of little bits and not really make a good impression. So think about what your key focus is going to be and start with that and really appear there. Okay. However, having said that, although you've got one key focus perhaps on Facebook, you may also decide that you will do the flyers as well, and you will have a website, or you'll put your profile on a national website or someone else's website or something. That way, if like for example, the other week when Facebook went down, all your marketing hasn't just vanished, you are still present in other places. So have a think about what you want your key one to be, and then have a think about whether there's any others that you would also like to appear on. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is, how are you going to get people to like you? And hopefully, this will come quite naturally, but think about how you present yourself. When you write your profile, I've done a course on this on Udemy, and it's also mentioned in the tutors group. A few years ago, I was tutoring a young lad, and I just moved 10 miles in the opposite direction to where I had been originally. So it was about a 45-minute commute to get to their house. I had to be there for 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning. And then my next lesson followed straight after. So I didn't have time to fit in a second lesson with the young lad. And so I said to the parents that I'd help them find someone else. This is going back a few years before I started franchising and the business and offering the brand associate. So I didn't have as big a network then as I do now. And I went onto the national platform, and virtually every single profile said, "This is me. This is what my degree is in, and this is my experience." Not one of them kind of like said, "This is my experience, and this is how it's going to help you. This is what my qualification is, and this is what it's going to help you." And so think about when you write your profile, are you telling me about you and you as a person, or are you telling me about you and how you can help me? Because as a parent, as a person, we're all quite egocentric. And when we're looking for a tutor, we don't want to know about you and your experiences. We want to know about how your experiences are going to help me and my child. So when you do your profile, think about how you word it. Think about how what you're writing is actually going to be of benefit to the person that you're writing it for. Okay. Think about it as put yourself in their shoes and write it from the perspective of what they want to know, what they want to hear. Okay. And the second thing that you need to do when you're writing something, not necessarily, even with blog posts and answering questions, again, write it, put yourself in their shoes. Don't lie just to answer what you think they want to hear, but state, don't just say that you use textbooks or that you play games. Say why you do that, how it benefits the child, or say that you found that your degree in this or your qualification in that is actually proven beneficial over the years when supporting children because, or your belief is this and you believe it and you do it that way because it helps the child do this. Okay, so what you then need to do is encourage them to get in touch with you. It's no good kind of like giving them this long speech or profile or answer this question or whatever, even if it's just a short at the end. Look, if you want more information, click on the link below, click on my email me at, phone me at. That's all it needs to be, but make it clear how they can get in touch. Make it clear what the next step is that they need to take. Okay, so now we know that we need to get them to know us, we need to get them to like us. We also need to get them to trust us. And this is, in some respects, the easiest part, but it's also can be the hardest part. So there are multiple ways you can do this. You can perhaps offer a free lesson or some people say they do a free assessment, but we've never done assessments. What I feel more inclined to do is a free lesson. And when people phone and get in touch, I answer any questions that they have openly. It could be that they don't like my answers. But that's fine, because the odds are if they don't like the things we do, then they weren't ever going to really want to be tutored by us anyway. So just if someone phones up and they have questions, open honestly and truthfully, and that way they will start to build a rapport from you, and be helpful. That's probably the most important thing. Is what we often do is say someone gets in touch and says, "Oh, my child is really struggling with their maths," and we go, "Okay, well, have you tried doing this at home? There's a simple times tables game that we play. It's just noughts and crosses or tic-tac-toe, and you draw the noughts and crosses grid, 2 lines vertically, 2 lines horizontally, put a number in each block, And then in order to claim your square, you pick a times table and you have to multiply the number in the square by the times table chosen. It's a really simple game, but by giving a parent an idea of something that they could do, you're showing that you genuinely want to help. You're not just wanting them to sign up because you need the money or whatever else. You're there because you genuinely want to help. And by creating trust like that, you're being of service, and they're more likely to naturally choose you to be their tutor. So that's, be open, be honest, be helpful. That's probably the best advice I can give you today, and that will help you build trust. And your reputation is what's going to build your business. So the more you can do this, every day I ask myself, what can I do today to be a better tutor than I was yesterday? And I also think, if this was my child, what would I do to help them? And so think of everyone as an individual, think of everyone as someone you can help, and your business is naturally going to go a lot further forward this time next year. Okay, so going back to getting people to know you, what do you need to do to make it happen? What marketing are you going to do? Break it down into small manageable tasks. Okay, any images that you use, what do they say about you? Any photos that you use, what do they say about you? If you're using images, how are you going to create them? Are you going to just take photos of resources that you use? Are you going to use screenshots of photos that you use? Are you going to use Canva? If you're going to be using images or graphics, what are they going to be? Are they going to be next thing is, obviously, when you're writing your profile or creating text for your social media or your profile or whatever, your website or whatever else it is, think about the language you use. Like we've reflected on already, think about what people are looking for from you. Think about their pain points and how your knowledge and expertise is actually going to be of help to them. So it's not just a statement about yourself, it's more statements about how you and your experience, your qualifications is actually going to help the people that you're working with. And something else you need to think about is this just going to be a one-off thing, writing your profile, setting up a profile on someone else's website, or is it going to be an ongoing thing, such as social media or having your own website or something? And if it is going to be an ongoing thing, so forget that. So is this going to be an ongoing thing, or such as social media or whatever, or is it going to be something like your profile or your website or something which you'll just do once in a while? And bear in mind, they suggest, research shows that it normally takes 7 or more connections before people actually get in touch with you. And even then, it could be a year or so before they actually get in touch. So, for example, not long after I started tutoring, I was working with this lad. Not long after we'd moved into our new house, I'd put leaflets through the doors in the local estate. And over a year later, I had a phone call from a lady who'd hung on to that leaflet, put it in a drawer, and now her son was in a position that he needed the support. So if something doesn't work straight away, don't presume it's not going to work at all, but you may be that you need to be consistently putting in the efforts. And if you don't have the time or the inclination to do that, do you need someone to do it for you? Because the thing is, you could have the best tutoring business in the world, but if no one knows about it, it's never going to grow. You're never going to get those additional people that you need in order to move your business from here to here in the next year, in the next 18 months, in the next 5 years, etc. So once you've broken it all down into small, manageable, tickable chunks, give them a date as to when you're going to have achieved them by. Do you need someone to keep you accountable to this? Because, for example, I did the original workshop for this video 2.5 weeks ago now. And every day I've been thinking, right, I must do this, I must do the video, I must refilm the video, I must refilm the video. And every day's gone by and it just hasn't got done because I haven't had a person to keep me accountable. Over the years, I've had mentors, and more mentors. But at the moment, I'm kind of like between mentors and I haven't had someone to keep me accountable. So every day it's just been put off, put off, put off. And the thing is, as they say, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So the gist of what we've been saying is plan where you want to be in 18 months. and then start thinking about what you need to do in order to implement this. Break it down into really small, achievable chunks, because if your chunks are too big, you'll just look at it and go, I'm never going to get that done today. And then it'll be put off till tomorrow or the next day, like I've just said about this video. So break it down into small, manageable chunks, that even if it's only 10 minutes an hour every day, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes an hour every day, just so that you can say, what have I done today which is going to help me get me closer to my goal? What have I done today to help me find a new student? What have I done today to help me improve my business? And so at the end of the day, you can kind of go, yes, that specific thing there is what I've done. That is what I've achieved to help me get closer to my goal. Normally what I do is I set myself a list of goals for the week, and then I break it down into individual goals for the day, and I tick them all off. So plan, implement, and then once you've been implementing for a while, test what's working, tweak it a little bit if it needs tweaking, and then keep the planning process going. So from there, you've planned from what you've achieved, from the results you're getting, you can plan what you need to do next, and then you can implement it, and then you can test it and tweak it and plan it, and the cycle goes. But make sure you get it out there, measure what's working, what isn't working, and keep repeating, tweaking as necessary. I hope you found this really useful. If you have any questions at all, please do ask me. My email address is info@clarajamestutoring.co.uk. If the workbook isn't attached, you can also email me there and I'll send it across to you. And the other thing is, if you do need someone to keep you accountable, why not join us over at the newly established Clara James Tutor, get my words out, the Clara James Tutors group. You'll get your first 7 days free, but if you use the discount code Plan22 workbook, you'll get the first 3 months free. And then there's no contract, so you can leave anytime you like. So you could just do 2 months and leave before you ever actually have to pay a penny. Even if you just join us for a short time, it will perhaps give you the chance to pick up momentum and get you running into things. After the first 3 months, it's just £17 a month. And there's, like I say, there's no contract, so you can leave at any time. Each month there'll be a co-working call and a Q&A. So at the beginning of the co-working call, what we do is we kind of say, all right, okay, for the next 30 minutes, I'm going to be working on this. And then we all keep our Zoom, we can turn our cameras off, but we keep Zoom on. And at the end of the 30 minutes, we kind of go, this is what we've achieved, give each other some encouragement, pat on the back, and we have a Q&A session, so we answer any questions that each other have. So each month there's also a new training module released into the group, which will help you grow your tutoring business. If you are interested, let me know and I'll send you the link. And depending where you're watching this, you may also find the link below at the bottom of below the screen where the writing for this is. So I hope you found it of huge benefit, and I'd love to hear your feedback. Take care. Have a great afternoon, whatever you're doing. And I look forward to seeing you over in the tutors group if you do decide to join, which I really hope you do. See you soon. Bye.